On today's episode of the Wild Party Podcast, we're diving deep into the radiant world of clean beauty with Nicole Sherwin, the founder of Eco Diva Natural. Nicole's story begins not in a lab, but on a red carpet. She was a successful actress and television personality living in LA when her health and skin began to spiral, leaving her searching for answers modern medicine couldn't provide. So she turned to her roots, drawing on a family legacy of holistic healing and ancient remedies to heal herself from the inside out. What started as a personal journey soon became a global skincare brand powered by superfoods, kindness, and clean science. In this episode, Nicole shares how stress, toxic overload, and gut imbalances nearly derailed her life, and how she built a business that now helps others find healing too. If you've ever felt like your skin was trying to tell you something, this conversation is for you. Let's get the party started. Welcome to the Wild Party Podcast, where we celebrate the visionaries behind vegan, ethical, and sustainable business. In each episode, we'll dive deep into their journeys, uncovering the why behind their mission-driven business. I'm your host, Stefanie LaHart. Tune in with me for passionate discussions about overcoming challenges, innovative marketing strategies, and the power of using business as a force for good. So whether you're an entrepreneur seeking guidance or a conscious consumer wanting to support impactful brands, join us as we explore the stories behind the businesses that are changing the world for the better. Let's get the party started. Today, I want to welcome to the show Nicole Sherwin, the founder of Eco Diva Natural, which is a globally recognized skincare brand powered by superfoods, clean science, and a whole lot of heart. Now, let me tell you, Nicole's background spans everything from acting and television production to even hosting live do-it-yourself skincare segments on national television. And today she leads one of South Africa's most impactful clean beauty brands. And let me tell you, I am so excited to dive into her story and her lessons in healing and how she's proving that skincare can be good for you, for animals, and the planet. Nicole, welcome to the Wild Party Podcast. I cannot wait to get into your story with you.
Thank you so much. I'm very honored to be here.
You know, Nicole, I have to tell you, as I started doing more research on you, I was like, wow, this woman is amazing with what you have built and how you started and everything. And I love what the message of your skincare line says. You know, first of all, it is doing good for your skin, but also, you know, what you're really saying about how it's good for the planet and how it's cruelty free and vegan. I love all of those things. But take me back to the beginning, because I know the story, but I want you to reveal it to our listeners about how you actually started, you know, as an actress and in the production side, and then, you know, got into actually creating your own skincare brand. But it wasn't just something that started by accident, because you have a whole family history in health and, you know, in making things that are good for the body and the mind. So tell our listeners how you got started then, going from, you know, I am an actress and now I'm launching my own skincare line. Is that a big question?
Oh, goodness. Wow, that's quite an intro. I feel a little bit embarrassed, but thank you very much. It's very kind of you. The simple answer to that is I healed my own skin. That's how I started the business. So I've been in the entertainment industry for many years. I studied in England and London and worked all over the world doing musical theatre and film and television. And I was living in LA and doing some interesting work there when my skin and my health started to just erupt and go completely out of balance. So that was the beginning of my skincare journey. My background is my wonderful father was an incredible homeopath and naturopath, acupuncturist, iridologist, reflexologist. The list goes on and on. So he was so obsessed with ancient healing modalities. And that's how we were brought up. So I feel so fortunate that we really understand the power of nature in our everyday lives, and how it's not, they call it alternative medicine, but it isn't. It's the original medicine. So bringing that back to life has just been an absolute joy, and tough and all sorts of things. But so I got a lot of inspiration from my dad. On the other side of my family, my mum's father was a chemist, a pharmacist, and had a pharmaceutical business back in the 60s and 70s, when pharmacies were also actually working with natural compounds. It's only after that did sort of allopathic medication come into play. So
I asked the question in that way because I was actually setting you up, because here's why. So I knew you were an actress, which at first when I was researching, I'm like, oh, because it's all of your acting credits showed up. I said, wait, is this the same person? And sure enough, I was like, oh, that is the same Nicole Sherwin. How cool. And then when I read your story about, like you were saying, you moved to LA and you started having these skin issues, that resonated with me so much, because when I moved to Los Angeles, I'm from the East Coast, Philadelphia. When I moved to Los Angeles in my early 20s, I suddenly broke out with a horrific case of cystic acne all over my chin. And if you meet me in person, you will see I actually have pretty severe scarring from it. So when I read your story, I was like, oh my God, that happened to me too. And at that point, I was like, I didn't know what to do. So, of course, and this was before Google. We didn't have the internet. This was like 1992. And I'm trying to do my own research. And I keep hearing things like, well, use tea tree oil and do this and that. And let me tell you, none of that stuff helped me. And I ended up doing, the really intense acne treatment at the time, which was pretty severe. My skin is pretty damaged. The acne did go away. But then I meet people like you. I'm like, oh my God, she figured it out. She figured out how to heal her own skin. I wish I could have. So, I love that you mentioned the background, just your family had in the naturopathic medicine. But when you were healing your own skin and making these own, I guess, treatments for yourself, at what point then did you realize, like, you know what, I could help other people? And when are we going to build a time machine so we can go back to 1992 so you can fix me? Because my skin is trashed. Anyway, that's a different story. Okay. When did you know you could actually help other people?
your skin is never trash. The beautiful thing is it will completely heal itself and rejuvenate itself constantly if it's fed with the right nutrients. It's so exciting. So dialing it back, why did my skin erupt all of a sudden? Because I never had bad skin. I was in a very stressful environment. LA is quite a stressful as you know, quite a stressful environment to exist in. It's quite a wild frequency. And I was doing a lot of red carpet interviews as well as acting. And because I was acting and doing that, people were sending me lots of products. So there were no influencers back in those days, they didn't exist. But because I was in the media, I was getting sent all these amazing products that I thought were amazing. And I would use a face wash from this brand, and then a scrub from that brand, and a serum from this brand, and mix everything up and think I'm in heaven because I've got all this beautiful free stuff. Meanwhile, it turned into complete toxic waste on my skin and in my body. And the interesting thing is, because skin is so incredibly absorbent, it absorbs almost everything that's applied to it. So if there is a toxin or a chemical internal organs, can be very dangerous or it can be very healing depending on the topical application, which is called transdermal absorption. So you get absorbed through the skin. And I don't know if you are at the stage where maybe you are using hormone creams, but the natural hormone creams, when applied to the skin topically, can literally bring you back to life through the menopausal stage. So that's how powerful the skin is. And it was a process of an elimination, realizing how that happened to me, because I had no idea. I mean, I was doing all sorts of things. So how do you eliminate? I went to doctors, I went to dermatologists, I went to skin specialists. I tried all the things they threw at me, and nothing worked. In fact, it got worse and my health got worse. And then I went to a kinesiologist who did some muscle testing and said to me, I was also getting excruciating cramps in my shoulders and back, and I couldn't sort of grasp for words sometimes. So my whole system was out of whack. And she said something else is going on here. I want to send you for urine and saliva tests, which she did. And I came back. I'm glad I was sitting down when I came back. I came back with very high heavy metal toxicity, mercury and lead poisoning. Where on earth does that come from? I wasn't eating a lot of deep sea fish, so I couldn't understand it. So I went on this complete detoxification rampage where I started, okay, what am I eating today? What's on the packet? And I started reading. And then anything I didn't know, I would Google and find answers to if it was a good ingredient or not. And then I started with my skincare and then my personal care products and my toothpaste, my deodorant, shampoos. I started really researching everything I was ingesting and everything I was applying topically to understand why on earth this could have happened. And whatever it was, I had to take a big three-pronged approach to my healing, which was looking at my gut health, because that had gone out of whack, looking at my skin health, total mess, and then looking at my stress levels. So for me, the brand I created, Eco Diva Natural, is very much about a holistic approach to healing your skin, or a holistic approach to always having healthy, glowing skin. I don't know if that's too long, but that's a bit of an explanation.
No, it was absolutely perfect. And like I said, it mirrored my own journey so much where I started at that point really looking at everything. What was I putting into my body and what was I using? And at that point, I was using some really big beauty brands, and I would tell some other people who had skin problems, they said, "Oh my God, you're using that? That's what's causing it. Don't use that." So it was just all this confusing information all the time. I really, didn't know what to do. So for a long time, I did the the minimum that I could, just sunscreen, some maybe mascara, and that was kind of it because I was like, everything is making me react. So, when you really went on that journey and you were like, okay, I got to look at everything, what was the next step then to you saying, well, I'm going to try and create this skincare line that would be able to help other people? Because, going from the idea to action is such a big leap in a lot of ways. What was that like in South Africa? Do you feel like you had different opportunities being there than maybe in the US, or did it matter? Because again, this was fairly back in the early days. We didn't have as much internet information as we do. So you were really grassrooting it. How did you get that all started to go from, I want to
I
start
was,
this skincare?
yeah, I was really grassrooting it because, first of all, I was my own human guinea pig. I had to have confidence in what I had found to be able to help others. So I had to heal myself. And that journey was long. It was 9 months, 10 months maybe of really like detoxifying. I ate volcanic ash to draw out the toxins. I was on this very strict plant-based diet with high plant protein, and started completely experimenting with different ingredients that I knew were healthy for the gut, or healthy for healing issues, because I'd been brought up with a lot of these ingredients. And I started mixing them into tinctures, into creams, into butters, into all sorts of yummy oils. And slowly, literally, the transformation was so dramatic and so exciting, really, truly exciting, that I just thought, I can't actually just keep this to myself and not let other people find a solution that, they're having issues themselves. So the transition was not easy. I mean, I didn't know I was going to start a skincare line. I never thought about it for a minute. I literally, my MO was, I'm healing myself. And at the time, I was editing a magazine, which was in the environmental arena, and writing a lot for different media publications, and then also still doing my acting, because it's a great film industry in Cape Town. And then I was invited to go onto a local TV network because of the work I was doing with the environment. And they said, tell us a bit about your journey. You've just got back from LA. Why are you back? So I just sort of casually told them in the interview that, I got really sick. I had to come back. I worked with my dad. we healed my skin and my health, and I feel much better. And they were like, oh, wow, how did you do that? I said, well, I've got about 14 different products that I've made that I use every day, and regimens that I do. So they said, oh, we've got a slot next week. Can you come on and demonstrate one of your products? I was like, yeah, I guess so. I can try. And that was the beginning of a 2-year relationship with that TV network. And every week I had to come up with a new idea, a new recipe. They dubbed me, they'd say, and it's our DIY segment to welcome our cosmetic chef, the Eco Diva. I don't know why they called me that, but that's kind of what stuck. And then the viewers would tweet and say, I love that body butter you made, or that anti-aging face cream. Where can we buy it? I was like, but I've just shown you how to make it. I don't know where to buy it. So then I thought, okay, maybe there's a business here. I had no idea what I was doing. If I tell you zero idea, I truly mean it. And I never went to business school. So I took my favorite formulations to 2 different amazing biochemists that really understood what I was trying to do. And for me, it had to be everything to do with clean. So not one toxin in it, no preservatives that were not of natural origin. Kind, had to be kind to skin, kind to animals, and kind to the planet. And then ethical. So the sourcing, from farm to table, how is it getting there? What are the ethics involved in running this business? How do I even run a business? Where do I start? And blindly off I went, is all I can say. Off I went
Well,
into the yonder.
I think that was the universe telling you, basically laying out the path for you. I mean, how amazing that, you're on this show. You mentioned some skincare that you do for yourself. They're like, hey, here's a whole segment, right? I mean, that's so
Hello.
perfect because in real time, you were launching a business, getting customer market feedback, right? I mean, you could not have planned that any better, Nicole, honestly. Real
I
feedback.
had
And
no
then people are like,
idea.
I love the products. I want to buy it. Like,
I
done.
had no idea what I was doing. I have to be honest, zero clue.
But that
I,
makes the best stories because we feel like we don't know what we were doing, but you did know what you were doing because you healed yourself and you knew how to present that information to the public audience. So whether you thought you knew or not, I think the universe made the decision for you. And
I
of
think
course,
you're right.
I love that your products are vegan and cruelty free. It is the only things that I want to use now in my life. And I think it's something that people are now realizing why that is so important. And also, you took it a step further because you're actually packaged with biodegradable materials, right? So your packaging takes it that step further, the
All our
sustainability.
packaging has no dyes, and it's vegetable inks, and you can literally throw this box onto your compost heap and it'll biodegrade 100%. So that goes through most of our packaging. Is all the boxes and the information. Then the rest of the products are all in glass, printed on in glass, so we don't have labels. The only thing we can't get is at this stage in South Africa. This is interesting enough, is recycled plastic, and it's the only bit, which is the spout, the pump action spout. So we're evolving. When I started the range, these weren't even available in South Africa. It was really like, and I was one of the first businesses to launch, and everyone thought I was absolutely insane. What are you talking about, clean skincare? What are you talking about? You're talking, I don't know, I want my usual brands. It was a lot of pushback. And I just carried on a path of, I suppose, like trying to educate people that there is another way, there is a natural way that you can do this without harming yourself, without having side effects. Um, and for me, I care deeply about this incredible planet we live on, and we are just damaging at a rate of knots. So I'm very passionate about being involved in a lot of environmental causes and NGOs and cleanups and anything that we can do to partner with NGOs like that, as well as I'm very proudly PETA vegan and cruelty-free approved, which we absolutely love, and Beauty Without Cruelty South Africa. So for me, it's very much about kindness, and I feel like when we live our lives through love and kindness, it's what gets reflected back, and it's a beautiful frequency. I call it channel 1. Anyway, that's enough
Oh, I
story.
love that. And you did mention early on about like how you really felt like that point in your life when you were under so much stress and in LA that that had such a negative effect on you. I totally agree. There's been many instances in my life when I've been under some kind of intense stress where I either got tremendous headaches or my skin, was going really haywire, and that's when the acne really came out. So I think that there's a lot in there, and then people don't really see the overall living, like how you live your life, how it affects your body, your skin, your mental state, everything. We're always just trying to stick like a button on one thing, just fix that one thing, and then everything's kind of done. So I love that you've tied it all together. And also that your website has provided a lot of education to people. So they really start understanding why these ingredients matter, what they do for your skin. And I really appreciated that. So talk to me a little bit about messaging within your products and in your business and how important that is. Because you said, people at first were very skeptical because it is a very natural skincare line, maybe some things that they weren't aware of or had an exposure to. So, now at this stage, do you find yourself having to still really educate your consumers a lot, or what does that look like for you?
So I launched the brand, I think 11 years ago. And back then it was just all about education. It was tireless education. Now there are a lot of clean skincare brands that have come into the fold, and it's become a trend, I say in quote unquote. Happy for the trend to arrive finally. So a lot of more people are looking for cleaner, kinder, more ethical ways of living themselves and more holistic ways of providing self-care and then care for others. So it's getting easier, but it's still a ways to go, I feel. But hopefully much more flowing and freer.
Yeah, I definitely feel like we're on the right journey as far as the conversation. Like you said, 11 years ago, people weren't talking about this. And, I don't mind that it's become so much of a trend as long as the companies and businesses are really walking the walk that they're talking about. And it's not just a label on it. But, again, just what I've seen on your website. And I think I actually reached out to you guys. I became aware of your brand, and I'm trying to think, I think it was through an article in an online magazine. I have to go back and see, but I was like, wow, this sounds really beautiful and amazing. So with that said, you are based in South Africa. Do you find that your audience is different there? Like who's your main audience right now? How are people finding you?
Yeah, I think the audience is very different here. I think business is very different here. I think mentality is very different here. When I was living in LA, I felt like in the wellness and environmental and anti-animal cruelty space, um, people were very much further ahead, I'd say about 5 years
Mm.
compared to South Africa. So this is something new that's catching on. We've got a really wide audience of demographics, from teenagers who need to heal their skin to moms who are, expecting and don't want to use any chemical focused products, to using the products on their babies because they're that natural and gentle as well. So it's like multi-use products for me are so important. Instead of having 25 different products, the whole family, everybody can use all the products. It's I designed it that way so that it was just would simplify, but have maximum impact on the healing and rejuvenation factors of the skin. And then we've got a lot of men now starting to use the products. They pretend they don't, but they steal their wives' products, and then their wives have to order double, and they get very upset with their husbands. It's hilarious. But for instance, the natural face wash that we have is just this most delicious, gentle, foamy face wash that if you don't add water and just add a little bit of water, it can turn into a proper shaving foam, which is like silky. So it's like a lot of multi-use products. And like our serum, for instance, is a wonderful serum, but it's also a great beard oil. You can use it on your split ends and your hair. You can use it on your cuticles. It's real multi-use product because the ingredients help the skin. And what people, I think a lot of people are beginning to understand is that the skin is one organ. It's the largest organ of the body. And it's a very intelligent organ when it's fed with the correct nutrients. So it's very similar to the gut. Um, so I think that is the demographics are growing from more sort of my age, 50s to 60-year-olds, to pregnant ladies using it on their babies. I mean, it literally is, it's going right through, which is wonderful.
I love that. And I love that the products are very, multi-use. I always look for that now in products, can I use it for my hair, my skin? Can I use it as maybe a hand lotion, so I'm not having to buy separate things all the time. And it also makes traveling a lot easier because I can take one product and literally slather myself in it and kind of go about my day, which I love. And it is funny with marketing. It's like sometimes we feel like, oh, if it's this product created for women, men can't use it. But it's really, I really like to have those all encompassing, let's say gender neutral products at this point. So anybody can use it and they don't feel like it's one way or the other. So with that said, I did notice on your website that you actually have a skincare quiz, which I really loved and I love taking. So talk to me a little bit about that. With when they take the quiz, what does it reveal to people?
So it really reveals to them the sort of, I, I hope it reveals a holistic approach. So when they arrive on our website, they understand we're not just about selling you a product. There are no quick fixes. There isn't one miracle product. It's just marketing nonsense. So this is a holistic approach. This is something we're going to do together. We're going to support you in your skin health journey the whole way. And the beginning stages are do our quiz. It's like a skin analysis. So we've created questions that will lean towards, do you have acne prone skin, pigmentation, rosacea, psoriasis, eczema, normal skin, dehydrated skin? So everything that people are searching for and looking for solutions for, the quiz will then dial down into your gut health and your stress levels. So, we ask questions like, are you eating a lot of refined sugars in your diet? Do you eat dairy products? Because what we then do, if the person is interested, we can also then do one-on-one consultations with them. Or I also wrote a guidebook in lockdown, which really reveals just the simple ways to make some shifts in your daily life through your diet, the product you're using, and the thoughts you're thinking, and your stress levels, and just finding tools to keep yourself on the right track. So that's really what the skin quiz is about. It will take you straight to a product that we recommend. Skin issues.
Wait. When you were just saying that last part, it really cut out. So start from, I think it'll take you from whatever you were saying. So you were saying
Oh,
the skincare quiz would do something because I lost that whole last part.
I don't even know what I was talking about. I'm just talking.
Oh, okay. Just
um,
well, you were saying it'll take you from God, what was it?
so it'll take you. So the skin quiz will either take you directly to products that we recommend. So it's like an automated way for you to just go, oh, okay, those products are recommended for me because I've filled this in and that's what they suggest. Or the person can reach out to us and say, I'd like to dive a little deeper. My gut is not, I'm bloated, my skin's puffy. I'd like to just either have a one-on-one or really understand which products, you feel you recommend. And we've also got these little mini products. So they're great for travel, but they're also a great starter kit. So if people don't want to buy, the big products, they can get the minis, which will last 30 days and really help you understand and experience how your skin will transform. And also if you work with the tips we give for gut health and for mental and emotional health.
Yeah, I love the starter kit system because then you can really get to experience and see what it can do for you in the transformation. And again, along with the education, I think it speaks a lot to changing that overall lifestyle, to see how your choices actually affect your health and your skin. And I will just admit, I do have a sugar addiction problem, which I am working on. And I think that my skin would be a lot better off, maybe in radiance and just in texture once I am able to, kind of get that out. So when you were saying like you give helpful tips and suggestions along that line, what are you really looking at, like through your marketing and even your social media? What's the message you want to get across to people the most about maybe somebody who's struggling with chronic skin conditions or looking for a more holistic path? Like, how do you take them on that journey?
We try and do that a lot through authentic storytelling. So it's either me telling my authentic story or our customers who are writing the most beautiful reviews or giving us amazing feedback. Sometimes we chat to them on lives. It's just really, um, I think the most wonderful marketing is word of mouth. You cannot get better than that. You can spend a fortune on paid ads and do, blah. But when somebody says to you, "Oh my goodness, I've tried this beautiful superfood face serum. It just changed my world. I feel more confident. I feel so much better about myself. I'm not dry or dehydrated." That to me is the messaging that comes out loud and clear. And it's for me, it's all about those authentic stories. So we've got a policy that we the influencers that we will only send product to for them to trial, and they need to trial them without using other products at the same time. And if they love them or if they don't love them, we want their honest feedback. We don't want, the usual thing you're seeing out there. You don't know what to trust. Everyone's saying, "Oh, this is great and that's great," and then the next minute something else is great. And so I also don't look at beauty influencers. I really look at holistic health influencers who really understand what we're doing and understand the messaging, and hopefully through that channel, the word spreads in that frequency, because it's really tough trying to compete in big brands that are throwing $1 million at their crazy marketing campaigns, and they're doing all these fancy AI things. And sometimes I get so lost and I'm like, oh, what's real, what isn't? I don't know what's going on. I'm old fashioned. I just want to keep it real and authentic. And if it doesn't feel like that, then I will shift it, because I can't live another way anymore.
I'm right there with you. I mean, things are changing so quick with AI right now. We have no idea where we're going to be in a year, but right now, it's still very much about, let's try and get the personal story. Let's do the testimonials. Let's give honest opinions. And what I really loved, specifically about your Instagram, was that there's a lot of videos of you where you're talking about stuff. You're very upfront. You're the face of the company, but also, the true believer in it. And for anyone who's not watching the video on YouTube right now, maybe go check it out afterwards, because Nicole is stunning. I mean, she is just one of those people, just stunning. And you look at her and you're like, whatever she's doing, I would also like to do that because I want that result. Because, like you mentioned a few minutes ago, beauty is confidence. That's where we're showing up in the world. And it's funny because, we're always looking outside, because, so, obviously, like, our consciousness is behind our eyes, so we're not looking at our face all the time. So it's the reflection that people give back to us that we really respond to. And, sometimes I wonder, would we just be better off in a world without mirrors? But right now, until that time, let's get on this holistic path and really heal from the inside. Like you said, so much of your journey, again, Nicole, really spoke to me, because I suffered that too. And I went through those same struggles. So I'm glad that you started this company. There are better ways for people to move through their life now and do it, with superfoods and cruelty free and everything like that. So with that said, tell everyone where they can find you online, because I know people are going to be interested in checking out, what Eco Diva is really about, and maybe getting some of those starter kits.
Ooh, that's very kind of you, all of that. I'm humbled and delighted at your feedback. Thank you very much. So you can find us online. We have a website that is ecodiva.co.za. So it's just ecodiva, ecodiva.co.za. And our socials is at Eco Diva Natural. We ship globally. We've just actually found a beautiful new shipping route, which is half the price. So I'm quite delighted to integrate that into the website soon. And yeah, that's where you can find us.
Awesome. And I will make sure that I also have your website linked within the show notes and on the blog article so people can easily click over there, because I really want people to take that skincare analysis quiz. Again, I think just understanding more about what the starting point is will really help people out, rather than, like you said, just buying random products, trying them, not really knowing what's going on. I mean, I love a quiz. I love a pathway. I love an outline. So when I saw that, I'm like, yes, and please. So thank you for putting that on there. So anyone listening, jump over to that website, take the skincare quiz, figure out what's going on with your skin, and, really give it a shot, because like I said, when you see the results Nicole got for herself, it's like, yes, she figured it out. So thank you so much for doing the work for us.
Thank you so much. And I do every Sunday, I write, it's my lazy Sundays, it's called Sundays. I write some inspo to anybody that has signed up to our newsletters. I don't never bombard you, but it's always some tidbit or some life lesson or something I'm discovering in my Sundays. So if you sign up, you get extra information there. Maybe get to know a little bit better. And then also we have Glow Rewards. So if you do buy online, you can earn Glow Rewards and get massive savings. So we've got some really beautiful community engagement on the website as well. It's quite fun.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much, Nicole, for being on the show and sharing your story. I learned so much. And like I said, I can't wait for everyone to really experience them for themselves, because you created exactly what they needed in the world. So
bless you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you very much. And well done for doing this. This is an amazing thing you are doing. This wild party it rocks. So well done.
well, thank you so much. That's our new tagline, the wild party. It rocks.
It rocks. I like that.
Thanks for listening to the Wild Party Podcast. If you're an entrepreneur or a professional who would like to be on this podcast, please visit boomtownmarketing.com and click on podcast. We believe that every business has the potential to change the world for good, and we want to support our community to help make the world more ethical, compassionate, and sustainable for all future generations to come. And if you're looking to build your business, no matter what level you're at now, request your free marketing consultation at boomtownmarketing.com and click Get Started.